Let's talk to Wilbon right now, brought to you by Waddle's guys over at Hawk.
HawkAuto.com. Looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Shop HawkAuto.com and search over 3,000 vehicles at 9 convenient locations. Find your next car at HawkAuto.com.
I read a report today out of The Athletic that ESPN has extended Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser 3 more years of, pardon the interruption, PTI, which is just set the...
It's the gold standard.
It's the gold standard of TV, and it continues to rise above everything as Wilbon joins us on the Yingling Guest Hotline. Is this a true report, Michael?
Yes, it is. Thank you, first of all.
Yeah, Wilbon.
It just means
Wilbon.
It means you guys are starting. You don't have to have a hole in your 5 o'clock hour on Tuesdays since I'm still doing something. I'm available, I guess, unless, you may decide to opt out. Who knows? Everybody gets an option year, right? You guys may decide to opt out on me.
Nope, that ain't happening.
Never.
By the way, Sylvie wants to know, Mike, if your first purchase with a new contract will be a PSL at the new stadium in Arlington Heights.
No, it's already been with the stadium in Evanston, Illinois.
Okay. I think you told us that.
I only acknowledge Olympia Fields and North Shore suburbs. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, let's. So, congratulations. In all honesty,
Thank you. Seriously, I appreciate it.
Look, it changed. You guys are pioneers in the way that show changed sort of sports television.
Yep.
It's incredible, and like you guys always say, you don't play this hot take game. You inform, you entertain, you make us laugh. It's just great stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been 24 years, which is. It's just impossible to believe that we started this show. That I called Mark Shapiro recently, whose brainchild this was, and I just said, "Look what you wrought on America. First Tony and me, and then he represents Stephen A."
Wow.
So I said, he's been on both sides of this like nobody else. Mark Shapiro, one of the great minds in sports television, modern sports television, and I told him I wasn't sure whether he was to credit or blame, but of course it's credit, and we're grateful to be back on, seriously, to still be on, for somebody to care. The ratings are still there. Let me just say, I'll pop my jersey this much. While there's some dopes out there who write for some of these stupid blogs who'll talk about this show and that show, I'm told, because I never checked, that our ratings are the ratings that are the highest on the ESPN studio shows. And so if that's the case, good. I'm grateful for that and grateful somebody decided to keep us around.
Yeah, you've raised a couple generations of sports fans.
I would say so.
Yeah, so
we're old.
Yeah, but good, but very good. And you're still spry. All right, here's what I want to ask you. You were very passionate last week. You were very passionate 2 weeks ago that you wanted the Bears to show a first-time starter on the road. Like, hey, we're going to take care of you. You're not ready for this yet. Prime time, first game. And sure enough, there was JJ McCarthy with 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. How upset are you that the Bears let that get away?
They let him off the hook. You get a pick 6, and you're 17-6, and you're a franchise that lives on that kind of turnover, setting you up to win games for 100 years. That's what the Bears do. I don't care if Caleb had gone 0 for his first 10. You get a lead like that with that pick 6 on a rookie quarterback. That's what Tommy, am I wrong?
No,
you played with all kinds of guys. That's what the Bears do. Yeah. And they had him, and they let him off the hook. And good for him that he showed that kind of poise. That kid was so calm. I got nothing but praise for him, but nothing but criticism. And I know the Bears are missing 4 of their top 12, 3 starters and 4 of their top 12 to 14 defensive players when you count Booker. But you don't let a rookie, you don't let him off the hook. And so I blame the new defensive coordinator and that Bears defense. They got worn down even though they had the ball 18 of the first 30 minutes in terms of time of possession. I don't want to see them let that kid off the hook like that. They did. He took advantage of it and rubbed their faces in.
I got to say, I blame the entire team. I blame the offense for not taking advantage of opportunities. I blame There was some bad coaching decisions that
Yep.
unfolded.
Agreed.
So I think beyond just the defense that gave up 170 yards and 21 points in the fourth quarter, I think this was a collective loss.
See,
Yeah.
Wanted to see if it would unscramble.
He seemed to go milquetoast in the second half as well with play calling. Caleb started going Sandy Koufax and Bob Gibson on 7-yard passes. It should have been completions. He reverted to last year. The offensive line was not providing the kind of time we saw in the first half. So, yeah, it was a complete team effort to lose that game. But of all areas,
let's see if we could. I'll put him on hold, and we'll try and reestablish. Sometimes it works its way out, and sometimes it just sounds like it's a robot, and we got into robot land right there.
Yeah.
So
don't like to be stuck in robot.
But at least he admitted too that JJ McCarthy won him over. And
how could he? I mean, listen. Again, you go back to his sophomore year, I think, in high school, and he's 68-3, and you could say, oh wow, it's high. He's still winning games regardless of where he's at.
And a championship.
Yeah, I mean, even at Michigan, he completed in his senior season 72% and had a 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. So, he was more than just in the sidecar.
Michael, you got cut off when you were talking about that you didn't like the game plan either in the second half.
Not the game plan. Caleb went, Sandy Koufax and started throwing 100-mile-per-hour heaters at people who were 8 yards away from him. He reverted to last year, which is not completely unforeseeable. I mean, he's being deprogrammed and reprogrammed, and so he had his moments where you go, wait a minute, just do what you did early. Just he was not calm, while JJ McCarthy was. I thought Ben Johnson, all of a sudden, he showed a conservative area about him, a conservative side to himself I didn't like. And the defense got pushed around. They got shoved in. They got hit in the mouth. And so all of those, and then you had a field goal kicker miss at the same end of the field where his opponent, had hit one from 10 yards longer. And you had the officials melt down and get 2 calls wrong to hurt the Bears. So you had just a complete effort to lose that game. But the one area that to me should be counted on the most is taking advantage of a rookie quarterback when you have him down.
Yeah. So on the Caleb front and really the team too, but let's zero in on Caleb. Here's what I'm having a tough time with, admittedly. And I don't know, this is just my emotion. On one hand, I want to tell myself, Sylvie, be patient. Be patient. It's game 1 of the Ben Johnson era. This is going to take some time to unlearn stuff, relearn other stuff. But then this is his 18th game. The accuracy isn't good. Is he missing guys that are wide open too? So how do you, as a fan, Michael, because you get emotional like me, especially about the Bears, how do you look at it as a singular game versus, look, we've lost as Bears fans 11 out of the last 12 games. Our patience is running thin, but should it be when we have a new regime in charge?
Yeah, it's not. Look, Caleb was in a more difficult circumstance in a way than JJ McCarthy. Here's why. Because Caleb had a rookie year which you have to throw out. You have to throw it out and relearn everything from a new coach. JJ McCarthy was working with this coach in this system for a year. So McCarthy had that working for him. Caleb doesn't have that working for him. He's starting anew last night. He missed people in front of him. Yeah, so did McCarthy. We just remember the fourth quarter where McCarthy made the 3 or 4 passes he needed to make, and that's all it was, 3 or 4 passes. But when he hits his All-Pro, his future Hall of Famer, like that in the end zone with a 100-mile-per-hour shot, that stands out to you. But he missed some people too. But he's in a system, and by the way, the Vikings coach is one of the best offensive coaches in all of football.
Yes. Maybe
one of the best head coaches in all of football. Ben is in his first game. Ben is the same kind of rookie that Caleb was last night. So, and there's something else that you guys, I know you roll your eyes when you hear this, but look, I've been around too long to get crazy without remembering the lessons of history. And there are two Super Bowl coaches who won 6 Super Bowls between them and lost 1. Joe Gibbs in his first 5 games was 0-5. Came in, had veteran teams, including people going to the Hall of Fame, went 0-5. And a guy named Bill Walsh came in and had Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Dwight Clark and people who, again,
you're
were going to the Hall of
choking like
Fame.
the Bears over there. What are you doing?
I am. I have no water in my car either.
Do you want to grab some water here?
No.
I don't want to hang you out to dry here.
There's no water. I'm in the car.
Come on, Mike. It's the fourth quarter, and we got a 10-point lead. You got to close this out.
We got to get through it. So Bill Walsh went 0-7. Bill Walsh and Joe Gibbs went 0-12. So I'm not going to fall into this abyss. I was really angry last night, so angry that I couldn't even go to bed till like 4:30. I was so ticked. And then my own brother helped talk me off the ledge. He disagreed with me vehemently on what we both saw, and he didn't feel last night. I was not. And then I listened to other people that I find the voices of reason. We had Jeff Saturday on our show, and I listened to Jeff and talked to him on camera as well. And he's like, hold on. They did a lot of stuff for 3 quarters that was really, really, really good. Don't get crazy. Caleb did a lot of good stuff until he didn't. But it was his first game, and he was the one who actually pointed out to me that Caleb's starting over from scratch last night while JJ McCarthy was not. And it was interesting to hear, guys, because I was surprised when I heard people saying, this wasn't – and there were the two bad calls by the officials. My God, one of them changed the game. Well, the holding call.
Explain, Waddle. Explain to Wilbon what you saw on the holding call on Darnell Wright.
It looks like, Darnell Wright was definitely not holding anybody.
He wasn't holding at all.
But the guy next to him, Jonah Jackson, was definitely holding somebody. So I don't know if the official got the wrong number or they just missed a call. Go back and look at the video and maybe that's what they thought. Maybe they thought that Jonah Jackson was the one that was holding and they called Darnell Wright's number, but there's no doubt Darnell Wright was not guilty of holding anybody.
And Troy Aikman said that in live time, and Saturday as a lineman echoed it and said, no, that's exactly what you're taught to do. Yeah. He had open palms. He did not hold. But anyway, that call, if that call was made, the way the officials wanted, announced that way, then that call cost the Bears a lot because instead of driving and perhaps being in position to score a touchdown, they wound up with a missed 50-yard field goal because they made 2 bad plays after that. But there was other stuff. You got the 4 pre-snap penalties, enough of that already. Yes. How many coaches are we going to go through with pre-snap penalties? And 127 yards of penalties. Yes. So that's identifiable. But, in looking at the quarterback, there's some things like we're targeting 85, commit 1 time, inexcusable. Don't want to see that. Don't want to see it. He's too good. Figure out how to do it. The one part that really concerns me that I don't know what we can do anything about is we have no running game. Now, Minnesota's front 7 has a lot to do with that. I mean, we're talking about a team that won 14 games last year.
Yeah, and they're strong up front.
And got better.
Yeah.
14. And they're strong up front, but we have no running game. Nope. And so to me, if anything, that said, what were we doing drafting Loveland? We should have been drafting one of those backs. Because or trading up to get one or trading off season for somebody. Because the running game, and I know Rashawn Johnson's still hurting on short yardage. He might have helped. You might stick the ball in his belly on 4th and 3 instead of Caleb throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastball to Komet when he's wide open 6 yards in front of him. Maybe you have options there when you can run the ball. If you can't run the ball, you're not going to help a young quarterback. Nope. Plain and simple. And that's what the Vikings did in the 4th quarter. They were able to run the ball. So, there's some things there that might have been out of everybody's control. Whatever it was just disappointing, but I'm trying not to make it discouraging.
The only thing I would say that leaves me, I'll play devil's advocate on the wrong side of this conversation, is I agree, like new system, new everything, same mistakes, bad footwork, bad mechanics,
Same mistake.
a lot of inaccurate throws, and I don't know that is system related. Maybe we will find out that Ben can coach some of that out of him, but regardless, I don't know that improper footwork and bad mechanics and being inaccurate just by the very nature of how he throws the football. I don't know if that's scheme or coach related. That's the one thing or the two things that would leave me a bit concerned.
Wow, Tommy, I don't know. I've been around enough offensive coaches, and a few of them geniuses over time, that when it comes to footwork and delivery and timing, they think it's fixable. They think that is coachable.
I hope so.
In almost every case I have run into, including guys who took journeyman quarterback, a guy like Brian Billick. I've been around enough offensive coaches that think that what you're describing is not about system. It's about discipline and learning, and there shouldn't be any reason why that stuff. Now, there might be other things that aren't. If you can't see the field, right, that may not be coachable. That may not be fixable. And are we talking about that? We're saying, and I know there are a couple of places where he missed people. He missed DJ Moore in the end zone 30 seconds earlier, which might have given the Bears time to get the ball back with time to do something on the final possession. He just missed him. Now, in talking to Steve Young every week for years, I know that Steve Young, who last I checked has a gold jacket, is in the Hall of Fame. Steve Young tells great stories about Jerry Rice and Dwight Clark coming back to him in the huddle saying, "You missed me. I was wide open." He looks at the film and sees they were. So, I mean, Caleb missing some wide open guys is not earth-shattering, it's not unique, and it is not something that kills your team. It isn't. If Steve Young can do it and others, and Troy Aikman talks about that as well. So I'm not buying that the things that I understand everything you identified is true. I'm just not buying from my time talking to offensive coaches that it's not fixable.
You're like Waddle. I'm wondering as you two were going about this, are his feet happy because he doesn't trust what he sees or doesn't understand what he sees, and instead of reacting, he's thinking, and he's trying to get out of there because he's not going through the reads quick enough to find the guys, and therefore his feet are all out of whack.
It's hard to know, but it's something
he did that in the first. He did it in the first half, and the film breakdowns showed it. He did that. So can he do it consistently? Can he do it over time? That's the question. We just saw him do it. He did it for those possessions. The first possession right down. He did it several times.
Because it was scripted. Those are scripted plays that they've practiced all week in that order or whatever. And now when it's an unscripted and you have to go through your progressions where the play isn't exactly right, Waddle, isn't it different when it's unscripted?
Yeah,
the way you have to think it through?
Well, there's something different between what happened early and what happened later, because he completed his first 10 passes and then completed 11 of 25 after that.
Right.
So
there's no doubt. And there are times where, look, the offensive line, the protection was not what we're promised, okay? It wasn't. JJ McCarthy was able to sit back there, take his time, survey field, and find people in the fourth quarter. Caleb in the second half did not have that luxury. I mean, when the play where he sprints out and hits a doomsday on the first shot, that play protection broke down. And a couple of times it broke down up the middle. We saw the all-pro center get run over. Let's not just pile this all in one place here.
No, we haven't today. We haven't.
Yeah, you're right.
No, the line seemed to tire late, and I don't know why. Maybe they thought they had it. And I just thought, at 17-6, I called my brother, who's a Soldier Field, and I just said, this is not good. They should be up at least 24-6 and maybe more, because 27-6, they're not putting this kid away. And if you don't put people away who are well coached and calm, you are asking for trouble.
Yeah. All right, Michael, really good stuff. Congratulations again, and good stuff on the Bears.
All right, you guys, thank you. And by the way, next week, oh, my God.
Homecoming.
It's going to be tough.
Homecoming.
that's a beat down waiting to happen.
That's what I said. I said that to Waddle. I said, this is a bad spot for them. Go in their first road game. They're out for blood after that first game against the Packers. They're going up against their old offensive coordinator.
It's a bad spot. And look, I could see them. I brought up 0-5 because in my text chain we have a Bears text chain, about 8 of us who have spent all our lives doing this, which is like more than a half century each. I just said, you know what? We're looking at 0-5. The Raiders are going to be better than we thought. That at Oakland, at Vegas game was, we're going to go. The Cowboys, Hey, we're looking at an 0-5 spot. And then, like I said to you guys, are we getting better? Are we getting better?
Not if you go 0-5, you're not.
Well, again, I gave you 2 coaches and their histories that you will both take.
Well, sure, and look at Dan Campbell too. Like more recently, like I want to say his breakthrough year, they started 1-7,
something like that,
and then they finished.
Were they that bad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then that was the game. Remember when they eliminated the Packers? They missed the postseason, but they beat the Packers, and I think they finished at 8-9 or 9-8.
They had
and then they were off
horse manure defense.
Yeah, but you got to get through. The question is, what are you doing in that period? I remember, let me just tell a quick story. I remember when Joe Gibbs, having won a Super Bowl, was in the office of his owner still, Jack and Cook. And he said to Jack and Cook, Jack, you weren't going to fire me at 0-5, were you? And Cook goes, yeah, I actually was. And had to be talked out of it. And so, you look back at these things. I don't know the Bill Walsh chronology quite as well, because I was intimately involved following the Joe Gibbs situation. Again, then went to 4 Super Bowls, won 3 of them, at 0-5. And I don't know. I got to go back and see what they were doing to get better. But maybe they weren't better right away. And so we're going to have to slog through some weeks here. And I know people are going to go crazy. They're going to want this person replaced. They're going to want this person demoted. They're going to want this person brought off the practice squad. And I don't know that answers any of it. There's going to have to be something that modern sports fans are accustomed to, probably, and that's patience.
It's good stuff. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, you guys.